And that's going on. Right. So now we're there. Go to Instagram. Say we should be going live. There we are. Looks like that came on through. Cool. Cool. There we are. Looks like we're going. We're live. Yes.
All right.
We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Get over here because see you're not in the frame.
You want me to fall off?
You have
I've got to move the chair over.
You have to do what you have to do to get into the frame here. So, well, good evening, good evening. Hello, we're ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. And tonight we're talking about the forgotten caregiver. Now, the interesting thing here today, you guys see it right there. See, you keep yourself in the frame. Okay, that's not my job. Your job is to be in the frame.
You gotta be very close, Cheryl.
You have to be in the frame. That's your job. Okay, thank you. That's not my job. See, I'm here. I'm right.
I know. I see you.
Very good. All right. Good gravy, Mother of Mercy, all things big and small. This is how it really goes if you want to know what's going on. But anyway, we're going to talk about the forgotten caregiver, and I may just be totally forgotten by the end of the day. But what if it's not too late? And so who takes care of the caregiver is another question. So everybody asks, how's mom doing? How's dad doing? How's James doing? We may have to ask how I'm doing later, too. So we'll find out.
Well, but, you know, George, you and I were kindred spirits, so
exactly. And we have literally lived the same metabolic chaos, only a little differently, but a lot the same. But what happens to the caregiver? That's the most neglected patient? And so there's really not a channel for the caregiver, is there? And they don't come. When you become a caregiver, there's no set of instructions. And so a couple of things I want you guys to know about, and let's say, oh, look, I see somebody else's head right down there. There's Coach Kimmy. Woohoo!
Hey.
Welcome to the group, Kimmy. All righty. We're loving it now. We're loving it. We have some more people. But really, one of the things that we talk about is I've got a couple of things for you guys to take home. And for those of you viewers that you come in, if you care to have this, we have two takeaways for you. And I think you're going to really, really like them because they've never existed until today. And they're only for you guys. Okay? So that's like kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool. Do you think it's kind of cool? You don't even know. You know, she doesn't even know.
He doesn't share.
I don't share. I'm selfish that way. But anyway, so I'm gonna give one of our takeaways. One of the things that you get today as a gift is called the FAST scale. Have you ever heard about the FAST scale?
Nope.
So the FAST scale is functional assessment staging test. And that is a scale from 1 to 7, and it relates to the severity or the involvement, especially with dementia, Alzheimer's. And I know that my dear friend Jenny's got a good clue on it because she's been doing a lot of studying and working on that. So that's one of the takeaways I'm going to give you. We'll look at it after a bit. And the other thing, ladies and gentlemen, for you too, and for those of you that are watching, see this on the restreams, is I have a 24-step or 12 caregivers clues and step by step take care of, and then 12 for when you're giving care to someone. So there's on one sheet, you'll have how to take care of yourself and then how to take care of the other. So those are two takeaways for tonight. They're brand new, hot off the press. I'm really excited to share those with you. So when part of the thing we're looking at, we're going to talk about who's the most neglected person in the whole thing. And that's the caregiver, isn't it? It's taken for granted, abused, mentally abused, emotionally abused. I mean, it's amazing because oftentimes a caregiver is the female, isn't it? Oftentimes it's a female, and that's that innate ability inside of you, isn't it? It's the caregive. But we never think about ourselves. We never think about ourselves as a caregiver. And, I'm involved in caregiving with my mom, so I can talk about it from that standpoint too. But I think the airline has one of the greatest philosophies. The airline teaches a lot about how to be a caregiver. You know what I'm talking about, Kimmy? Do you know what I'm talking about? How the airline teaches you to be a good caregiver?
The airlines?
Uh-huh.
That's interesting.
You know why? James,
Why?
you have a clue?
Well, it's all about being personable and taking care of every passenger that's in there because they all have different needs,
Sure.
right?
Jenny, do you have a clue? Do you know how the airline teaches you to be a good caregiver?
As they do these are all your exits. You're
Nice
gonna have
job.
a mask that falls.
There you go. The
what
mask.
are you supposed to do? You're supposed to put the mask on yourself first and adjust before helping others.
Yeah. So as a caregiver, we want you to understand that the most important person is, guess who?
You.
We're the most important. That's why when the mask falls down, that little yellow buttercup, they wanted you to put it over your mouth
First.
and breathe first.
Yeah.
Because if you don't save you ain't saving nobody.
Right.
That's good.
And so the airline philosophy, that's kind of where we're kind of looking at. One of the things that we're going to kind of be going at here today. So that's one of the things. Now, in the introduction, I'm George. I'm the metabolic grandpa, sometimes maple syrup, whatever. But the whole idea is that we've all been caregivers and we've all received care. And so the invisible patient is a person that everybody depends on. It's a person that always keeps showing up. It's a person that does the mundane things that we never get any credit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do you give credit? Do you get thanked? Yeah, maybe. But then again, who gets all the pressure? Who gets the emotional triggers and abuse, right? Who gets ignored by the rest of the family? Because if we're there, if we're on site, if we're doing the deal, right? If you're doing it, then they don't have to.
Right.
Then they don't have to. It's already taken care of, and it's no big deal. So that's one of the things that we really want to impress upon people is that there's a lot of things going on. Now, in different kinds of things, I've dealt with caregiving. We're talking about Alzheimer's with my mom, and you have been a caregiver for, how many people?
About 5.
5, and that'd be mom,
My
dad,
my sister.
sister,
Well,
and your
sister,
and your husband.
my husband.
Yeah. And mom your sister had Alzheimer's, right? And I did it with Alzheimer's. Okay. And Jennifer, you were taking care of you've been a caregiver for.
I was a caregiver for about 3.5, 4 years, and I was caring for both of my parents with cognitive decline. Yeah, and one parent was on 2 different Alzheimer's meds.
Yeah. And Coach Kimmy, you've been a caregiver in what environments?
My father and my mother. My father since deceased, but my mother, I'm a part-time caregiver with her with dementia and stroke.
Okay. And James, you have caregiving experience, or you've been the care receiver?
No.
Both. Well, my mother-in-law, she got stomach cancer. My wife and I took care of her, and before she passed away, and we were so involved in that after she passed, we sat down on the couch and what do we do now? Because that had been our life, right?
That's exactly what I said.
That's good.
Because it's so wrapped up, so involved, such a intricate part. And when that's not here, Jennifer, how do you feel? What's that feel like?
You know, it's a shock to the system. I'm still going through that process. It is definitely an emotional roller coaster. Uh, you know, one not being, we'll call, as you say, boots on the ground, and kind of it almost is more stressful for me not being in the environment like I was.
Sure.
Mm.
Because now you're on the outside, you're kind of an observer.
Yes.
So now, with the intricate knowledge you know about the situation, people involved, but you're not there to mitigate. Now there's questions and guilt, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Mm.
It really does make it. It's quite the thing. So there is that whole idea of guilt, and then let me ask you guys, how do you feel? Do you ever feel guilty whether you're doing enough or not enough?
Yes.
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 Well, as someone that has received that care for many, many years, you know, my wife is such an angel that she took care of me all the times I was sick and in the hospital and all those things. And I'm like, you know, you're like the bastion of health, right? You've never really been, you know, in the hospital, you know, very long or anything like that. I mean, she's had a few things, but nothing, no, nothing long term like I've had, right?
Mm.
And so she's been taking care of me, and I'm feeling guilty because she's doing all the caretaking, and I can't take care of myself.
Mm.
And that's a whole nother animal, isn't it, James?
Right, right. And there's nothing you can do, right? Like when you're in a diabetic coma, you can't do anything, right?
Mm.
Uh, you know, after I had my stroke, 18 months of recovery before I could even think about starting to do anything for myself.
Mm.
You know, and the most embarrassing thing in the world, and maybe other, you know, spouses don't feel this way, but for me, when my wife had to wipe my bottom, that was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I can identify. I have not lived that, but that's yes, 100%.
and so, you know, my wife has been the caretaker of me for a long, long time. And so she is just an angel. She doesn't, you know, doesn't complain about it. At least not to me, maybe to other folks. But she really, really, really top notch taking care of me. So never want to underestimate or thank them enough for taking care of you.
Absolutely. Kimmy, what has caregiving, affected your clarity at all?
That's a good question. Well, because I'm a part-time caregiver, not that I don't think about my mother on a daily, because when she's with me maybe a week or 2 weeks at a time, and it might not be for a month or every other month. But when she's here, my attention and focus is solely on her.
Mhm.
So when I make sure that she has her, because she's gotten where she's self-sufficient. She had therapy for over like 6 to 8 weeks
And that's on the stroke, right?
from the stroke, and she had a major stroke where it paralyzed her left side. And then she never walked with a cane or anything. Now she's walking with a cane, and the dementia seemed like it really started to manifest itself more after that last stroke, which has been 2 years, it'll be 2 years in August. But for my clarity, maybe my energy, because I'm so focused on making sure that she's good, making sure that she has her food, making sure I have to remind her to drink her water, to sip her tea. So I'm grateful for the tea because it helps me keep on top with her also, because you need mental clarity and energy to do everything you need to do for as a caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And Jennifer, I know full well some of that. So what's your thought in there?
That is 1,000% true for me too, Kimmy. In the beginning of my stint being a caregiver, I was not on the T yet, and my brain fog was so terrible. And it's funny, you don't realize how bad it was until you start to gain clarity.
Yes.
Right.
You
Right.
know, I mean, I was putting 80-year-old people's medical appointments on the wrong week, on the wrong day. My anxiety was through the roof.
Mm.
My depression was kicking up. And like you guys were saying again, with the guilt and with the people you're caring for, I think know to an extent that they appreciate you, but they don't share it out loud.
Mm.
But in my case, and Kimmy may know this from the conversations that we have had with my dad, there's always kind of like the crosstalk. Like you overhear, I wish she wasn't here. I wish she lived somewhere else.
I wish someone else was doing it.
I wish somebody else was doing it. Yeah.
Right. So that you can just be there and be there for your loved one. Right. And it's not the job per se, although you don't mind doing the job, but like you were saying, you can forget stuff all the time. Right. But if someone else is doing all those things, you can be there just to be there. Right. Which is totally different.
Right.
Absolutely. You're absolutely true. So how do you think about on that?
Yeah, caregiving. I wasn't a full-time, but when she was with me, I was always concerned.
Mhm.
She liked to sit out on my patio, and we lived on the river at the time. And she loved sitting out there. So I'd let her sit out there I'd always check on her.
Mhm.
But I was always the concern that she would, move or go somewhere. I mean, I could, we had big windows there. I'd see her constantly, but yeah, it is scary. One day, and she was still driving at the time. A friend of mine called. I was at work and she said, "Have you seen Sharon?" And I said, "Or have you talked to Sharon?" I said, "No." I said, "Why?" And she said, "Well, I just talked to her. I talked to her about an hour ago. She said she was coming out to my house and she hasn't gotten here yet." So instant panic. I called her phone and what happened? I called her phone, no answer. And so I just started, I was going to go look for her. I don't know where. I was going to go look for her. And I called her one more time before I left. And she answered the phone. And I said, "Where are you at?" She said, "Home." I said, "Well, Judy said that you were on your way out there, but I was kind of worried because you hadn't made it yet." She said, "Oh, I couldn't find it, so I came home." Just like, no big deal. But at least she went home. That was pretty scary.
Right.
I was in a panic.
That is scary.
So
Yeah, there was with my mom one time. She had gone out with a camper, a self-contained camper to Washington State. This is in Illinois. She'd gone out to Washington State. She said, "I'm going to go." It's a wedding, and she went. And so she was gone for a week or so. And I knew she had left Washington to come back to Illinois. And I got her on the phone. She answered the phone. She normally wouldn't have the phone on because she thought it would cost money if it was on, right? And I said, "No, Mom, it's for you. I want this for us to get a hold of you. I don't want to talk. I'm not going to call you. No, we're going to call you." Anyway, so I called my mom and I asked, so where are you? And she said the three words you never want to hear them say: "I don't know."
but she didn't have dementia.
She didn't. That wasn't really dementia at the time. So I said, "So wait, where?" You gather yourself. You go, "So where are you?" And she goes, I'm at a garage sale. How many garage sales are there from the state of Washington to the state of Illinois?
Never know.
Never know. And I'll tell you, James, Jennifer, Coach Kimmy, she came home with that Winnebago type camper full. She had for example, she had 2 keyboards.
Mm.
You know, she wanted to complete my Pyrex set of dishes.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
Red Bull, Blue Bull, Green Bull, Yellow. Yeah. So yeah, that was so yes, I get that. So but the whole idea when we start looking at some of this kind of caregiving things with the clarity and the energy, when did you ever say I'm fine when you really weren't, but you didn't know it?
Yes. All the time.
You know, or did you know you were lying to yourself when you said you were fine?
Absolutely not.
Not fine.
Yes. You know what they call Alzheimer's a long goodbye. And my late husband, he said one night to me, because I was just off balance through that whole time. I wasn't myself. I agree. I started mourning when she was first diagnosed because she was so young and it was such a shock.
Mm.
And and people would say, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. You know, because a lot of people don't understand the disease. They think that you just forget things. They don't realize that it is a killing disease.
Right.
It's horrible.
It really is. It is. I mean, it's a long goodbye. And the research and frustration on that is just out the roof. But we're finding out more and more. And it's interesting, guys. Have you noticed if you follow the research, all the research and all the billions of dollars are being spent on trying to find some kind of management, some kind of treatment after the fact.
Right.
And I'm gonna wait. You guys know how I am. I'm just gonna say it this way, and I think in a really dark, morose way, to maintain someone's life on the medication, but not for improvement, but for profit.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm throwing it out there. I mean, think about it. If they can make not looking at quality of life. I mean, they're not saying we're going to do this to take care of the tau. We're going to use this and take care of the amyloids. It never talks about improvement of the quality of life.
Right.
It just is about the management.
Yeah.
The managed care, managed cash flow. I mean, it kind of really, that's kind of what's in. I was doing some research, James, the other day, and the word management, managed care, Coach Kimmy, do you know where that came from? Anybody? Managed care came from?
You told us before.
Yeah.
Companies?
It came from HMOs when we started having managed care.
Oh.
Now follow this. The word managed goes back to Latin to means hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that whole terminology of management came into play with horsemanship. You look at that, the French is even the best, but that's to guide, lead, train, move horses.
Wow.
Now think about, there's all kinds of management, the word management. We start to look where we're talking about, Jennifer, with managed care. It's all about managing it's not about, well, up until the birth control pill
Oh,
and up until some drugs, like methadone, whatever. So there's a drug that was used to help people that were addicted to things that where they became managed. If you were on that, you could take this pill and you kind of could do that, or the birth control pill.
mm-hmm.
That was one of the first managed care. Before that, medication was what? It was cure. It was antibiotics.
Mm-hmm.
If you got something, you got this, you were fixed. You were done. I mean, the oddball thing is syphilis, gonorrhea. Take this, you're done. What about a UTI? Take this, couple days, you're done. So medicine was for cures. And there was the last time that we had a cure, and I'll get on back into caregiving more things, but just bringing some of these things to perspective. The last time we really had a cure was back when there's hepatitis C.
Yep.
Not A, not B, but Hep C.
Mm-hmm.
And Hep C was a huge deal. I mean, people were panicking about it and stuff, and it was a human contact. It's human contact. That's how it was transmitted. And so one company came up with a medication and eradicated it about 80, 95% in a year. You don't hear about Hep C anymore, do you?
Nope.
But what happened was when one of the old icons of Wall Street was interviewed about how this would affect the things, basically he said that curing disease is not a good business model for a cash flow industry.
That's right. Agree.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I go, one last thing. I got to get off. You guys know me, James. I go down these rabbit holes. But there's the whole thing yo-yo diet. We're going diet to diet to diet to diet.
Been on those. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been on them, right? Anybody hasn't? Anybody has? Yeah, right. I mean, I created Diet Whack-A-Mole as a game. I mean, I'm literally on every diet, right? But think about this. The yo-yo, the Whack-A-Mole. Currently, there is a medication or a synthetic that people are using by injection. Now there'll be tablets and pills and whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think about it? I think there is a pharmaceutical yo-yo.
Mm-hmm.
People get on this one, they get off.
Yeah.
They get on that one, they get off. They look at another one, they get off. All to fix something. What? All to fix their gravity challenge.
Right.
Right. All to fix that, and that they're going to start going. It's going to be GLP-1 yo-yo.
Yep.
On this one, off that one. On this one, off that one. You've seen that, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Or increase it.
That's right. Increase it.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, it doesn't work, so we give you more of it. So,
More of it.
Anyway, so I'm sorry. I'll get back onto our topic today. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about caregiving and the forgotten caregiver. And I didn't forget about you. So Kimmy, what would you tell someone that's beginning the journey about caregiving? What would you tell someone that's just starting out?
They better be prepared. Because, and if you don't know, I suggest that you get knowledgeable about it. Mm-hmm. And I know that the courses are even through the certain centers, they do have courses, little things that you need to know. And then we talked about the mental or the emotional aspect of it, the patience of the it's just not an easy job. It's not especially with you, they're being your loved ones. Because I know with my father was he lived in another state, but I would fly back from Florida to Alabama to see about him, and I would stay for maybe a week or two and then home. But it was so emotionally draining for me that we actually hired an aide in Alabama, my sister and I, to be the eyes for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Because and then again with that, you don't, because you may not trust everyone with your loved one. You take that upon yourself. And it's something you really don't not prepare. Just like being a mother or a father for the first time. You know, you don't know anything about really taking care of a child. You learn it a long way.
Right.
So we need to kind of educate ourselves, I think, to know what to expect, especially with dementia and Alzheimer's and losing the memory, and being very patient with them when they forget, when my mother can be incontinent, to learn how to not get it's anxiety comes with that, because it's challenging when you're wet and then the bed's wet and you have to wash the sheets and you have to wash the bedspread, and you still want to maintain that loving, kind voice, to my mother or to my father. And for you, James, I want to say to you too, when you said about your wife wiping your butt, it was embarrassing. That was the most selfless act of love that you could give, that she gave you, and that's powerful, because not everybody will do that and do it well.
Right. I, like having, when I had my stroke, I was paralyzed from the neck down for almost 2 years. And so all during that time, my wife is doing all the stuff, taking me to doctor's appointments, taking me to rehab, taking me to do all these things. And she was just an angel at doing it. And then when we're doing some of the rehab stuff at home, I may or may not have lost my temper a time or two, and said, I don't want to do it that way, or something a little more forceful than that. But as the person being taken care of, out, you know, working on the caregiver, they're just there to help. But when you're the one trying to get back to where you once were, and doctors telling you that you will never get there, it's really, really hard. And I'm pretty stubborn and determined. But when
No, you're not. No, you're not.
But when doctors told me that I would never walk again and I would never be able to get around without a wheelchair or a walker or any of those things, I looked at him and said, I know a guy, and that guy happens to be my Heavenly Father. I was like, he might have a different plan than you.
Right.
And so I'm going to trust him more than you, and we're going to see what happens. I'm like, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't change my faith belief, right? But, thank goodness that I am able to walk around. Now, I still have some deficits on my left side, like my hand and my arm, and I walk with a limp. But all the while, my wife was there every day to take care of me, get me to appointments, do all the things, help me get in the car. Had to learn how to get in the car a totally different way because my legs wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, just simple things I used to be able to do now is a complex thing. And simple things like signing your name, I couldn't do it. Right. I had to figure out a way to do that again. And luckily, my wife, as far as being a great caretaker, she's also a kindergarten to second grade elementary school teacher.
Oh.
So luckily, she had the patience to deal with me and to teach me how to do those things over again. Right. So God bless her. She is a gift that I don't take. There's not a day goes by that I don't think the Lord for her and how she took care of me to get me to where I am today. Because I honestly thought after about 2 years of being on my back that I would never, ever walk again. But I can, and I thank God for that. And just seeing her patience with me, I mean, I know at one time I told her, I was like, you might as well just put me in a home. I'm not going to get any better. And you need to go and have your own life, right? Take our daughter, go have your own life. And, because I'm going to be 24/7 care. And that's not fair to you. That's not what you signed up for. Now, she, told me that I was crazy and should never talk that way and all those things. But those things cross the mind of the patient because they don't want to be a burden to the caregiver, right? Especially if there's no hope to get better, right?
And with hope, the idea of hope is where does hope go? Hope is that when hope, there's a thing called ego. And
Yes.
ego stands for edging God out.
Oh.
Edging God out. And when that gets involved, when that hope deferred, right? Sickly heart, Jennifer, you totally get that, what I'm talking about. When with that play and ego, and then we allow those things to come into play, the world goes different, doesn't it, Jennifer?
Absolutely. So funny that you saw that in me, George. Huh.
Who, me?
So what I would tell myself 4 years ago is before you jump into a caregiving situation, and as I'm learning throughout my life, everybody is being cared for in one form or another.
Yes.
And jump in with a little bit more education than I did because I had this much, absolute zero. And on my journey, I learned that there's organizations called the Caregiver Action Network. I follow a woman on Instagram who her mother is. Now, you said the FAST scale, you had 7. I believe she's actually a little bit higher than 7, fully bedbound, Alzheimer's, cannot do anything for herself. Learning that jumping into somebody with cognitive decline, and also having a tribe of people that
Right.
if I would have maybe played it a little differently with my brother, talked it through. How do you feel about this? Do you think this would help? Do you think this would not help? And if that communication wasn't there, which unfortunately for me it was not, finding other people, like when I met Kimmy, I was like, you are my savior right now, help me out. And it's being vulnerable enough to ask somebody else to, hey, I don't know how to do this, do you know anybody who does?
Right.
Yeah. Ask a lot of questions.
So I'm going to ask here's a question. Coach Kimmy, Cheryl, James, what was the hardest day? What was your hardest day?
Oh
wow.
I probably got maybe 2. Think about it with my mother when she first, I believe, when she first came, not first came, but she came down to visit. It was some months ago, but she had the stroke, and I went into the room, and Mom was on the floor, on her back on the floor, and I said, "Mom," and she couldn't get up. And I looked and I said, "Mom," but I was calm. I was amazing. I was calm. I said, "Mom, why are you on the floor?" And she says, "I don't know." So I don't know whether she had gotten tangled up in the comforter and would fall out, because I would have like the portal toilet right there by the bed, and you know. But that was hard because from that time on, whenever she comes, I don't sleep sound. I'm like my baby's in there, and I have to go and check on her to make sure she has a cover on her, or she's, you know, she's not on the floor again. It didn't happen again, but that was one of the hardest times. And I think with my father, and then was because dad had amputations. He had both legs were amputated.
Mm.
And when I went to see him, when I flew into Alabama to see him, and I saw him suffering, and he always wanted to be the one to be the strong one, because when they amputated the first leg, I asked him, I said, Dad, I says, I'm really tore up about this. How do you feel? What do you, and he says, I'm doing as well as I can. That was always his answer. But he was brave, and I wasn't brave. I was heartbroken, and I was even angry at one point, I think, with God, because I asked God to not have him lose his leg. Now, when I went to Alabama after he had the second leg amputated because of peripheral arterial disease and diabetes, he was in so much pain and discomfort that I never forgot that. That was one of the hardest times, and my father died 2 weeks after that.
Okay. Jennifer, care to share?
You already know.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
The hardest day was the day that my physical caregiving on site ended.
Yeah.
And not because they passed away.
No.
Peace.
Yeah, I get it. What was your hardest day?
The day the doctor told us my identical twin sister had Alzheimer's.
Oh,
Mm.
it's hard.
Worst day of my life, because I knew she was going to die. She didn't know that. I did.
Yeah. I think I know my worst day is going to be when Mom passes.
Oh,
Mom's 97, James, and she has Alzheimer's, dementia, but not really Alzheimer's, where she is and she's not. She's on the scale, probably she's a 7-ish, like a 7A or so. She's definitely not, when you guys will get the scale, the fast scale,
Right.
see that she's mostly bedridden, right? And we have boots on the ground 24/7 taking care of her. We have a niece, and we have hospice been coming in for over 2 years now, I think. And of the 10 of us, one of us is with her every month for a weekend at least. And we have respite. Talking about, again, caregiving, guys. We have respite for the caregiver.
yeah.
And so that's a jewel. That's a precious thing, because caregivers become forgotten.
Yeah.
Because somebody's there, nobody else needs to. And we're blessed in our organization, my family, we got an organization, but we're blessed that we realize that.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to, and everybody does participate. So it's a unique, different group from that standpoint. So let's go this way. James, do you remember what for your wife, it had to be the first day she found out that you were dead, right? First time, or was it the fifth time, or which time do you think it was for her?
I would never assume that it gets easier every time. But for those that don't know, I found out that I was a diabetic when I went into a diabetic coma.
Oh.
That was the first time that my wife had ever heard of it. My blood sugars were over 1,000, and my A1C was a 19. And right after she got that news, the doctors looked at her and said, those numbers are not compatible with life. And he probably will not make it through the night. Went into a diabetic coma for 5 days, woke up from that luckily. And then probably one of the hardest days, right? Because we're not financially blessed yet, but we went to the pharmacy to get medication. And with a straight face, the pharmacist said, that's going to be $6,000.
Oh
Oh
I
my God.
looked at my wife and I was like, you've been better off if I would have stayed in a coma
my.
because we can't do that every month,
That's terrible.
you know. So those were really hard days. And then, like for me, the hardest day was my stroke was kind of unique because it didn't happen all at once. Okay, I was at work and my boss saw me walking kind of funny. So he sent me to the medical team. They checked me out. They're like, well, you're getting the flu. You probably should just go home. So I drove home, went to bed. It's like 2 a.m. Woke up and I couldn't move my legs.
Jesus. Mm.
I'm like, what in the world is this kind of flu? And so the first thing I did was, first thing husbands do is call their wives, right? So my wife and I were in transition, moving from Cedar Rapids, Iowa to Columbus, Ohio. I was in Columbus looking for a house, looking for a place for the kids to go to school and all those good things, right? And I pick up the phone and I call her and I'm like, I come home from work early because they thought I had the flu and now my legs don't work and I don't know what to do. And she goes, well, I'm 600 miles away. What do you want me to do? And then right. And she goes, remember your brother's a nurse. Why don't you call him? So I call my brother. He comes over, he looks at me, examines me, and he just is shaking his head. And I'm like, what? He goes, you need to get to a hospital like yesterday.
Oh.
So we go to the hospital, he drags me out to his truck, throws me in his truck. We get to the hospital. I literally am in the emergency room all day long.
No.
And at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the doctor comes in and goes, Mr. Davis, we found out what's wrong with you. And I'm like, okay, I've been waiting for this. He goes, you have vertigo.
What?
Now I'm doing this, right?
Vertigo.
And I'm just shaking my head because I've had vertigo. I know what that is and all those things. And he turns around, he writes something down and gives it to me and goes, get this filled. You'll feel better in the morning. But if not, come back and see us. So luckily I go to my folks' house, spend the night there. And when I woke up in the morning, I was paralyzed from the neck down.
Oh my word.
And I had my brother and my dad take me to a different hospital. And there is that emergency room all day long there too. And about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, the doctor comes in and goes, Mr. Davis, we know what's wrong with you. I'm like, oh no, if you tell me I got vertigo again, I don't know how I'm going to get up and hit you, but that's what was going through my mind, right? And he goes, you've had a stroke. Now we're 3 days into the stroke.
Oh no.
Right. So there's no, counteracting drugs or any of those things that they could give me. Right. And so the doctor's like, you had a very severe stroke and it was caused by your diabetes. And I'm like, okay, here's the problem, doc. I'm a borderline bleeder. My blood doesn't clot. If I cut myself shaving before we go to church, I'm not going because I can't get it to stop. So how in the world did I have a brain bleed, a blood, bleed in my brain to cause a stroke. He goes, no, it was caused by too much sugar in your bloodstream.
Sugar induced stroke. And I think you misunderstood what the first guy said. You thought he said vertigo. He says never go.
Right. But, picking up the phone and calling my wife and telling her,
Yeah.
now those next 3 days, she didn't know what was going on. I couldn't really talk, and doctors weren't giving any information out. My phone died, so she wasn't even able to get a hold of me now. All kinds of things happen. And luckily, my brothers, I have a very large family. I have 21 brothers and sisters, and they put her on a plane and got her here fairly quickly and was able to be with me. But, just that initial phone call to tell her that something drastically is wrong and I don't know what it is, that's the scariest feeling for me. I have no idea how she felt.
Sure. Well, we can probably surmise that. Anybody guess?
Right?
Yeah. So Jennifer, here's a question: who takes care of the caregiver?
I love when you ask me that question. Because at first I didn't know I needed to still care for myself because I was too busy caring for others.
Oh.
And George and Cheryl saw it from the beginning when I met them. I was running myself into the ground. I was not sleeping. And mind you, I was on medications for insomnia. My stress level was through the roof. And I'm still kind of all over the place when I talk, but it was more erratic.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
So now I know that I needed to take care of myself first, put the mask on first, because I was the one who would put the mask on everybody else and I'd perish.
Right.
So it never clicked until they said, well, who's taking care of you? And I was like, I don't know, nobody.
So who's taking care of you? Who's the caregiver? Who takes care of the caregiver?
Who takes care of the caregiver?
Yeah.
Well,
okay, then we'll move on.
Cheryl, are you taking care of George? I think that's for
somebody else.
Oh, I was just asking him something today, and that I noticed on his leg. And he, oh, it's nothing.
Caregiver, right? So who takes care of caregiver, Kimmy?
You know what? That's caregivers don't know that they're not taking care of themselves.
Right.
Until something happens. And I have to say my sister, because my sister is the primary caregiver for my mother. Mm-hmm. I know my sister does not take care of herself because I can see the signs and the symptoms in her body. Mm-hmm. I can see the fatigue in her face. And when I talk, that's why I try to take her and I maybe keep her that week or whatever. But I've said, you got to get an aide. And I tell her that a lot of times. Get someone to assist you with her. They have to realize that. The caregiver has to realize too that what they're doing requires them to take care of themselves or they won't be here.
Yep. James, how do we take care of Linda?
Well, I know when we were taking care of her mom, especially, we had someone come in and sit with her. And even if it was just to go for a walk for a half hour, 45 minutes around the neighborhood, just something that simple gives you a chance to relax a little bit, get some fresh air, drink some water, do things like that. Well, now that she's sick, I made her some soup tonight and, told her she needed to drink some water, sip on the tea, do all the different things that we know what to do. But, it's hard, because you don't want to be too forceful, right? You don't want to be like, you need to do this, right? And I know with my mother-in-law, she loved to do laundry. So when she was getting really sick, I was like, Mom, you just just need to back off and we'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And she goes, it's the one thing that I can do. Right. So I still do that.
Mhm.
And she did it, up until last couple weeks that she was with us. But I was still very upset that she was still trying to do that. And my wife was like, James, she's not going to be here very much longer. If it brings her happiness, let her do it.
Yeah.
So,
Like this one here, if we took away her ability to go out and mow and play with flowers,
Oof.
it's over, right?
Yeah.
Love it.
It'd be a very bad day in your home there, George. Mhm.
That's
That's why I offer to mow, but not with passion. but not with a lot of passion.
right.
I'll mow. The only thing I go, I'll hear no. I'll water the flower. I'll help water the flowers. No. So that's
As far as who takes care of the caregiver, this just came to my mind when my husband passed, because he had a stroke and he was gone in 22 days. After he passed, I was so busy. I was trying to be strong for my kids, although they were adults. I was trying to be strong for everybody else. I was just doing all the motions that I had to do as far as accounts and everything that had to be done. I'd sit and I was still working. So after I went back to work, I would sit at the waterfront and I would make phone calls. I had to. And I did not take care of myself. My weight it really went down. I looked like a scarecrow. I looked horrible.
Yeah.
I was not taking care of myself. I had so much things that felt like I had to do. And I probably could have asked for help, but I didn't.
Yeah. See, what happens is that people in that kind of situation, oftentimes we do logistics. We do logistical things because it's a distractant. It's things that need to get done, but it's not code blue. I mean, it's not
Right.
like it's not stat, but mentally it gives you you take that as an escape route people do logistic things. But one of the things I would tell a caregiver, and even people in grief, having done this from financial services and having to deal with this so much, is that back in the day, one thing that people don't do, and Jennifer will attest this because I've told her this a few times, and you and others, is that exhale.
Yeah.
Right.
Exhale. Simply exhale, because when we're doing that, we're almost hyperventilating. We're taking all these tasks. We're doing all this as an escape method, but we're taking it in. I got to do this, and I got to do that, and I got to do this, and I got to do that, and it's all inhale. And you have to give yourself one. You don't have to do anything. You can live in America, but yeah, I would say you have to give yourself permission. You have to exhale. And those two things lighten a lot up. Don't they, Jennifer?
Yes, they do.
And ask for help.
Yeah, and then ask for help. It's not weak and it's not selfish.
I mean, people never talk about it.
Right.
So I know, Linda and I, we, had miscarriages when we were early married, and no one talked about it. We didn't know that was a thing, right? Because nobody ever talked about it, right? And, come to find out, a lot of couples do, but no one ever talks about it,
exactly.
right?
Yep.
And same thing with taking care of people. You want to put on a good face, and everyone's asking how the loved one's doing, and they really overlook you if you're the one taking care of them. And ask for help. Right? Everyone that has lived any amount of time has had to do this. Right?
Yep.
So ask for help.
Perfect. So here's the question. If you think about this, and then I'm going to show you the two charts, the things I'm going to send you guys so you have it, so you can use. But if you could give every caregiver, if you could tell every caregiver one thing, what would it be? If you could, and I'll let you answer in any order. If you could tell every caregiver one thing, what would it be?
If you need help, ask for it.
It's okay to be a taco and fall apart because people still, at the end of the day, love tacos.
There you go.
Love it. Cute.
Take care of yourself.
That's my Jen. Take care of yourself. Yep. Perfect. All right. I'm going to show you guys. I want to show you this real quick, guys, right here. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. All right. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Let her mow.
He does, Keith.
Keith, yeah. Keith says, let her mow. You got it. So, guys, can you see this? So here you can see the fast scale.
Yes.
I'm going to be sending you that.
Okay.
And you can see it's a scale of 1 to 3, then 4 to 5, 6, and that. So it breaks it down into the different stages of care, of where we're at, what to look for, right there. And then here's some care notes. So I want to show that's coming to you. That's available. You guys can use that as well. And then here, this is our list of 12 caregiver do's and don'ts, pretty much for dementia, but you pretty much can use it for anything. Mm-hmm. You can see on one side, it's to take care of yourself first. We really stepped on that because that's so much overlooked. Protect your sleep. We didn't mention that, but some of you guys, you were on medications for that, right? Mm-hmm. Move your body. Get up, move. And just, fetching food and doing the laundry, that's not moving. Get purpose movement, right?
Right.
Eat fuel, eat good food, get on the protocol, right?
Right.
Get the protocol, utilize the protocol, add fiber, manage your stress. How many times do we feel overstressed because we're trying to do everything? We feel guilty that we're not taking care of that as well as care. And we get that guilt feeling. Ask for help. Good gravy, ask for help. It's the hardest thing to do, really. But, some of us, it's accepting help is even harder.
Right.
Accepting help is even harder. So schedule your time. Don't just be, just don't, I'm going to float through the day and what happens. So set some schedules. Try to keep things into routines because routines help everybody.
Right.
Talk about your feelings. Don't swallow them. Get outside. Get some sunlight. That's important. Don't eat in the dark. Eat in the sunlight, right? Keep learning. Keep growing. Jennifer, I know you're doing exceptionally well at that. Keep your hope and faith alive. James, I know that's a huge thing for you and Linda. As it is for Kimmy, I know it's for us. And I know Jennifer absolutely is that. Then once you take care of the magic yellow cup, and I think I probably should have put a yellow cup here. That's how I am. Then you got the other side of the chart. See that? So
you're better equipped to do it.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that to you guys because I'm going to give that to you. You can make that available as to how you want to use it. So in wrapping up, I want to thank you always. And I want to thank James for coming on in Linda's spot. And it's always great. James always loved chatting with you and stuff. And James and I are kind of kindred spirits with our numbers. We're both kind of maple syrup K-row. I mean, it's just
right.
Our numbers are just out there. And I'm blessed that I didn't take a 5-day nap at all.
Right. I don't
but-
recommend it for anyone.
I'm not looking forward to it at all, and she's not going to let me in. It's not something I aspire to. In fact, I just got done, and she helped. She was supportive. I did a 120-hour fast. I just completed a 5-day fast. Just the tea and the mineral, the electrolyte, not the balance. The fiber will break your fast.
Yeah.
So did that, and easy peasy. And Kimmy, it's always great having you. I'm happy you're there today, and I'm glad that you're feeling well. And Jennifer, we love you all the time. Always will love you. It's just always great, and we share lots of stuff and all that's going on. Now we do know that Linda was under the weather a little bit today. Tide had to fall off, and then I also know that Kia had they had some issues. They were out with the water in the river, and a bunch of them got sick. So they're not well. And of course, if you don't know anything about Kia, she's got triplets and another one and a husband. So she is caregiver.
Yeah.
She's caregiving as we speak.
Yeah,
So
those
guys,
triplets will keep you on your toes.
Yep. Guys, I love you. Thank you very much for coming tonight. We'll see you next week.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.